Oh my goodness. Welcome in, folks. Welcome into Believe in Careers. Y'all, what? Are you kidding me? No, this is the expectation at this point. Y'all, big win on the road in Detroit City, and palms are sweaty, knees weak. The sweater, the vomit on my sweater already is mom's spaghetti. You drop bombs, no sacks, no turnovers. The Commanders played an absolutely beautiful game against the Detroit Lions on the road. Yeah, they gave up 313 yards passing. Jared Goff didn't matter. Jaden Daniels, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Offensive line, hey, guess what? No sacks. 122.9 on the rating. Brian Robinson Jr., welcome back, my boy. 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, 16 carries, 51 yards, no touchdowns, no worries. Austin Eckler, 6 for 47. You kidding me? My man is balling. Welcome back to the fold, my man. You've got a team that is rolling with some absolute fire behind him. They're cooking with gas, as the saying goes. The Commanders are moving on to the NFC Championship game. Are they going to LA or are they going to Philly? We'll find out tomorrow. You get to sit back and watch this game and see where your team is going this upcoming week, guys, because look, what you got going is special. This is special. This is something that you can't. Since 91. Most of y'all ain't even been alive since 91. So y'all don't know anything about this. Ask your elders, or ask your parents about it. What it was like when this team was in their heyday, when they had Gary Clark, when they had Mark Rippon, when they had John Riggins. Those guys were doing their thing in 1991. And y'all weren't even thought about it. Y'all weren't even here. Now you get to set your own legacy. Jaden Daniels is a special human being. Terry McLaurin, a special human being. Look, you're headed to the NFC Championship game. Who's your opponent? Don't matter. Dan Quinn said it best. Anybody, anytime, any place. Detroit City, no worries. Anybody, anytime, any place. You going to LA? No worries. Biggie said it best. I'm going back to Cali. Jaden's from Cali. He's from San Bernardino. He gonna have people in the stands. They would love to come to SoFi and see him upset the Rams. Look, these daggum Lions and the Commanders played a hell of a game, 45-31. Y'all, brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline had this thing 9.5 points going the other way. 9.5 going the other way. I love them because they're sponsors of the show, but I hate them because that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. You got a team that's coming in this thing, 5-game winning streak. They've had the most recent bye. All right, they're running in 5 in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs, and they're going on the road. They don't care. Anybody, anytime, any place. And you put them at 9.5-point dogs. That's okay, though. 45-31 is the victory. Jaden Daniels having a day. Brian Robinson, welcome back to the fold, my man. 15 carries, 77 yards. He did his damn thing. De'Ami Brown. Let's hang out over there for a little bit. Oh, I got Brian Murphy in the building. He's joining late. I remember I was saying a couple weeks ago, Brian Murphy, I said, everybody got to come into this thing like a wrestling promo. And you know what, brother?
How about that?
Oh, yeah. You got De'Ami Brown lining up wearing wide receiver number 2. Oh, yeah, brother. He's going deep. He's making catches with his eyes closed. Don't matter, brother. He's making plays every single place all over this field. He's doing his thing.
When
I'm talking about the emergence of a wide receiver, too. This is the time that you need it. If you're going to have it at any time throughout the year, have it through the playoffs. Have it right now. Welcome in, Brian Murphy. This is my co-host, Brian Murphy. Welcome in.
And how about that drop at the beginning of the game? You're like, okay,
I don't give a damn about a drop.
Doesn't matter.
I tweeted back to John Keim. I said, look, that was a better play by the DB than it was a drop by De'Ami
Georgia
Brown.
Southern, by the way, Kendall Vilder, out.
So shout out to the small school guy.
Shout out to De'Ami.
That was a better play by him. But De'Ami Brown, he's showing up in this thing, doing his damn thing. 2 weeks in a row, 6 for 98, long of 42, 8 targets. You saw the one play where it got knocked out of his hand. That was a great play by the DB. You got to give respect where respect is due. 4 for 87 by Terry McLaurin. Got him a touchdown, long of 58. My man caught that ball, and I was telling my wife, I said, hey, baby, I said, look, that's 88 out the gate. She said, what does that mean? I said, look, It means house. It means touchdown. I said, how about this? Kitty by the door. What does that mean, Brian? Open the door with a cat next to it.
My
You'll
cat
find out
is
what it
gone.
means.
My cat is gone every time that door is open. You know what? Who
Gone.
else is gone? 1-7 Terry
Mm.
McLaurin. I
You
almost said
right.
something.
You sure right. I tweeted Terry McLaurin because the man is fast, man. He can get up out of that thing. He was rolling. Austin Eckler, 4 for 41 receiving. I remember talking to the Junks. They were like, hey, is Austin Eckler going to get unleashed in this game? And dadgummit, yes, he was.
Damn right.
He was unleashed. He was there. Jamison Crowder, 2 for 25. John Bates, 1 for 20. A big 20-yard
3rd and
reception
5 to
right
ice the
there.
game.
Oh, John Bates. Hogan, you're there for blocking, but you made a big key catch when it was necessary, man. I loved it.
Anthony, I'm so glad you texted me because when I left my TV, the Commanders just went to the NFC Championship, and I was afraid if I pinched myself, if I woke up, that wouldn't be the case. So I went, when we're done, I'm going to go and double check that they're still going. But as far as I know, the Washington Commanders are going to the NFC Championship. I don't know if anybody knows that. Sorry, we're 6 minutes in. I don't know what you covered, but
yeah, no, I've been up here going, just having the most fun because dadgummit, this is historic. Somebody tweeted, they said, what am I witnessing? I said, this is legacy shit. Pardon the language. I'll switch the little explicit. This is legacy stuff right here. This is like, hey man, do you remember 2025 January 18th where you were at when Jaden Daniels went on the road against Detroit Lions, the number 1 seed, 222 point plus in the point differential. I don't give a damn about your point differential. I don't care about your point differential because you have to play the game between the 60 minutes that it's allotted. Between the 60 minutes on Saturday starting at 7 p.m., you got to play the game of football. And what came out from this thing is that the daggone Washington Commanders, led by Jaden Daniels, improved their record to 12. Well, they're 12-5. They're 14 wins on the
14
season.
and 5.
14-5 on the season, 5-3 regular season on the road. Now they're 7-3. If you include the playoffs, this team has won every single way that you can ask them. And frankly, this was the offense's game to step up and say, hey, we're going to handle this thing because you're going up against an offense that is prolific. And I gotta give respect where it's due. Ben Johnson, congratulations. You have an absolutely prolific offense. You really did. Plus 222 points on the differential. They've scored 50 points multiple times. They scored 40 points multiple times, but you didn't do it enough this game.
Here's what happened. We were talking about how is Washington gonna go haymaker for haymaker. At a certain point, I don't know if it was once the ball was kicked off or once Washington moved the ball down and beat themselves on 4th down. But at a certain point, the Lions were like, "Oh shoot, we have to keep up with them," and it stretched Ben Johnson to I think every play that he had in the playbook, and it wasn't enough. This team dominated. I give your flowers to the Lions. They absolutely deserve it. They deserve
100%.
the success they've had. But your team stepped up and put a whooping on them. I know that it got close there for a second, but it was never in doubt. They could not stop Jaden Daniels. They couldn't stop Austin Eckler. They couldn't stop anybody. And at a certain point, and like I said, I don't know if it was after the first touchdown. I don't know if it was after the ball was kicked. I don't know if it was, after the strip sack. But at a certain point, the Lions were like, oh no. They realized they were no longer the 1 seed, that they were up against another powerhouse in their own.
Look here. Let's give some love to the young rook out of Michigan. Big Blue, Mikey Sainristil. My God, young man. You showed up and you did the damn thing, my man. 2 passes defended, 2 interceptions on the day, 5 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 assist. Are you kidding me? And Mikey, give it to Mike. Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. You stepped up, my boy.
Chase down J-Mo in the end zone, read that perfectly to pick it off, and then he picks off Jameson Williams later in the game. Jameson Williams, unbelievable touchdown run, but he is going to be having nightmares of number 0. He's just going to be a big 0 and wake up in a cold sweat.
Man, I tell you what, Mikey Sainristil. Look, I went back and I was watching tape, Brian. I went back all the way to July 25th. It was the second day of training camp. I said, I remembered that this team specifically went back and they were doing situational drills in the second day of training camp. And people thought Dan Quinn was crazy for it. And frankly, it was his first time doing this thing. But he went all the way back and he was doing situational stuff. And he said, I'm going to implement situational stuff every single day. He hired a guy by the last name of Gardy. He was giving situational things every single day. And I think that came through big for this team. He prepared his team starting in July for moments like this. How do you handle the situations in the game? Because this team has won, now I count 9 different ways. 9 different ways. 5 turnovers, no problem. Defense will hunker things down until the offense gets going. Now the defense creates some turnovers on a hell of a quarterback in Jared Goff, and it gives the offense a chance to say, hey, you know what? We going to score enough points to keep us in the lead. 45-31. Are you kidding me? Jeremy Chin, 12 total tackles, 7 solo. I joined the Junks, and they were like, hey, what do you think is going to happen in this game? I said, man, you know what? Honestly, man, I would love to see some Jeremy Chin show up. I would love to see some Mikey Sammer still. And I can tell you, it felt good to see these guys show up and make some plays on the road in a tough environment up there in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, they silenced that crowd, man. They had them on their heels, and you botched the fourth down or whatever. It could have gone a whole bunch of different ways. You go basically 3 and out to start the second half, but so many times this team has risen to the occasion. It's like they need more pressure in order to perform their best. And in the biggest pressure-packed moment, biggest pressure-packed game, everybody stood up, led by number 5, led by Dink. I mean, you're naming all the guys. I mean, it's just incredible. You could go down the list 1 to 53, and the guys that were inactive, the guys that are practice squad guys, played a part in it. I saw Sam Hartman sitting by Jaden Daniels after every time the offense was on the bench. I mean, every guy plays a part in it. You saw that right here. This was the most complete game they've played all season, in the biggest game. I mean, what more could you want?
Brian, look, I was telling my wife earlier. I went back to the tape all the way back to July. I said Dan Quinn has been talking about the situational training for this team, saying, "Hey, look, here's the situation. Here's how we're going to operate." And they've seen this thing. They talk about a brotherhood. They've seen this thing. This team knows that the guy next to him is going to do the job to get the thing done. And I promise you, there's one thing to go out there and whoop everybody's behind. That is where you got to respect somebody, because frankly they do that. But there's another thing whenever you're actually going to overcome some adversity, where you can look back and say, oh man, we've been in this position before. I've been down by 14. I ain't tripping. I've been down by 7. I ain't tripping. I've been down by 3. I ain't tripping. But now you're seeing this team win from ahead. And I think that's a scary, scary thing to consider for the 2 teams left in the NFC.
We started this show in 2022, you and me, at least, this version of it. And how many times did we say that this team needed to swing first, that this team needed to set the standard first, that this team needed to go out there and punch somebody in the mouth instead of waiting around to be punched and then react? 2 years, 3 years, wherever we're at now, however many shows later, we finally have a team that does it. This team is to be reckoned with. All these teams, the Lions deserve their bye. The Chiefs deserve their bye, and they won on their bye. The Eagles deserve the division because they had more wins. But Washington has been playing playoff games since they were 7 and 5. Beat the doors off of Tennessee. Then whatever it was, however they've been showing it all week. 5 straight games that came down to the last play of the game from scrimmage. This team has been playing in the playoffs since the beginning of December. You're in their territory right now.
Tell them.
Okay, this is it. 6 seed, 1 seed, barely limping into the playoffs. It doesn't matter anymore. This is their time. Okay, and they are. You're right. They're getting to another level at the most important time possible.
Man, look,
scary.
Man, look. If I had to pick, if I was just a casual observer, I would be like, I don't want to see nothing to do with what they got in burgundy and gold. That's just how I know. I wouldn't want nothing to do with them, because frankly, at this point, who cares? I don't give a damn who you are. What Dan Quinn say, Brian? Anybody, anytime, any place, don't matter. LA, East Coast, been there. We fine with it. Don't matter.
It doesn't matter,
Don't
and
matter.
they've been doing it for a month and a half. It's not gonna matter now. I I uh I realized that I had this story about house money that I forgot to tell you. So my buddy Reed, who is one of my lifelong best friends, was my roommate in college, was just a poker player through and through. As we speak right now, he is in Vegas. We've been texting about the game. He might or might not have thrown a couple dollars on the Commanders. So good for you, Rito. But at one point in college, he was playing some online poker. He had to run to class because he's a responsible guy. And he was like, Murph, just finish the game for me. I was like, I know how to play poker. I don't know the strategy, but you know what? I'm going to try my best. And it was down to one or two. I went all in every single time. A,
Mm,
it wasn't my money. But B, because I didn't know any better. It's like you said, this team, yes, they've been playing with house money, but at a certain point, you take all those chips, you throw them in, you say, let's go win the damn thing. All right.
yeah.
And that's what this team has done for a month and a half. They're going to continue it next week, whether it be in Philly, whether it be in LA, whether they have to move it again for the Rams, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I don't think that this team is not going to show up. The other team might play better. Sure, it's happened, but I don't think that this team will be unprepared. And that is
Yeah.
a crazy, crazy place to be at with how long this fan base, me speaking, you a former player,
Mm,
everybody involved with this team has seen
come
this
on.
team wet their pants
Come
over
on.
and over. And right now they are a factor. They're a
Come on.
factor, man. They're in
Come
the
on.
Final Four. Teams hang banners for that in college. They are in the
Oh,
Final Four. Your team is in the Final Four with one game between them and the Super Bowl. What? What?
you
House
couldn't even
money? Bet
you
that house money.
you wouldn't even took that bet in the preseason, and you being a homer, you wouldn't even have been like, oh, I take that money just because I love the team. No, you wouldn't even took that. And I was looking at my office over here, my shelf, and on this one I have a Miami Dolphins thing. It says greatest turnaround, first greatest turnaround in NFL history. I don't remember what we came from to go to the playoffs that year, but that was the year of the Wildcat. That was the year where, frankly, it took everybody by storm, and nobody had an answer for it. Led us to the playoffs. Ended up losing the playoffs to the Baltimore Ravens because we had three active receivers that game. But nonetheless, you're looking at a team that is doing something absolutely special. You're doing something absolutely historic, and you have to enjoy it. You have to
Unreal.
enjoy it. I mean, look, don't even sit here and try to be a hater and tear this shit down. Don't even try to beat it. Don't even do that. Just sit back and enjoy the fact that you have another young dog at quarterback that's in this fold of 32 elite individuals, and one of them is wearing burgundy and gold. And frankly, he can put that thing up on his back and carry this team to a victory. All right, he's fine with throwing that thing out wide to making sure that everybody else can eat until he gets his chance to go down deep. So if you want to call him check down Charlie, I don't give a damn.
Check down Charlie's going to play
To the
first game to go to the
NFC
Super Bowl.
Championship. He's
Yeah.
one game away, baby,
Look,
and it happened in a year.
look, man, it's hard not to get emotional about this team. This team means so much to me. I'm going to show this picture. I've tweeted it out before. That's four generations. That's little
Mm,
Brian right there. That's four generations of Skins fan. Half of them aren't with us anymore, and I don't know what to say, man. I've got three kids of my own. The last time they won a playoff game, I was a freshman in high school before this season. I was 9 months old when they won the Super Bowl. Like, this is in my blood. My dad and my grandma went to Super Bowls. And so when I say like this means so much, it's in my blood, man. Like, this is what half of my relationship with my cousins and family
man,
members are based around.
man,
And I love it for you too, man. Like, all of you guys that went through some dog
man.
crap years, and then to come out on the other end that you're still involved, that you still even wear burgundy and gold. And it wasn't just this year. You guys stuck around. I know you have great relationships. You've talked about guys on those teams that, well, scrap together 5 wins, that you guys are getting to experience this too, that you're
Man,
part of this family, that maybe it was transfused, maybe it was, you weren't born into it with the blood in your stream like I was, but it was transfused in.
man.
This is for you, man. This is
Man,
what it's about. Wow, what this
man.
this is unbelievable.
Man, look, I'm gonna say this. Every time I go up to DC, I'm never one to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I played for so who." I just like to sit there and have a conversation. I remember riding around just most recently having conversation with folks in Ubers, and they're like, "Oh, I remember the time of the RFK days," and I would love to have that team get back to that stature and that point. And frankly, I feel like you're here. I feel like you're here, and this is one of those things that you know what? It's not one of those like, "Hey, if we lose," like, no. The expectation is to win. The standard is to win. Don't come in here thinking like, oh, you know what, we're a little charity case. That's not the deal. That's not the deal anymore. You've come to the point to where, hey, you know what, we're gonna take what's ours. We're gonna take what's ours and we're gonna exert our will upon somebody. And frankly, guys, you got a good team. You have a good team. I've heard so many stories about RFK. I've heard so many stories about how the stadium rocks and shakes whenever everybody was jumping up and down. You were playing against Dallas, and I need that same energy as you go into these road games for the rest of the playoffs. But guys, this is something that's special. This is something that's special. Historic franchise. They've got a legacy about them and got some fans that give a damn. And I am happy for y'all to be able to experience this right now.
It's unreal. It's unreal, and you're absolutely right that, uh, you know, for the fans, man, like who would have thought? And what a roller coaster ride. And I tweeted it out. You're so right. This team doesn't care. You know, we've used the house money analogy. You know what they don't care about is house money. They care that they're one win from the Super Bowl. They're not getting patted on the head. They're not, like you said, they're not saying, oh, what a plum lucky little bunch we got here.
Yeah.
They're 2 wins away from winning it all. And
Right.
that's special, and it's amazing that we're there. And I could go on all night, but I know we gotta eventually sleep. I don't know how that's possible, but unbelievable. NFC
Man,
Championship.
I'm extremely excited with the fact that this was on a Saturday and not a Sunday.
Yes, thank God.
So you could sleep in a little bit, you could enjoy yourself. And I can tell you what, man, if I have to go out and give game balls, we said it last game, it was like a cup tip and a hat sip, or whatever you said that had us
Cap
all
tip, nod
confused.
sip.
Cat tip nod sip. Look, I got to give my cat tip nod sip to De'Ami Brown. 2 weeks in a row, my man. Look, Chris, I'm gonna fudge up the saying, but Chris Berman would say something along the lines like, "Once is an accident, twice is a something, and 3 times is proof." Hey, my man, you balled out 2 games in a row. I'm looking for a third from you, so you got a hell of a matchup next week. I don't know who it's gonna be. I was gonna naturally say Darius Slay, but
I'm
let's
not
see what
counting the
you get.
Rams out. We'll see.
I'm not counting the Rams
You know,
out. You're gonna
you know
have a
what
hell
I'm
of
doing?
a matchup, De'Ami.
You know what I'm doing? Hold on. I'm sitting back like this because I know my team's already in. I'm gonna pull a Dirk Nowitzki when he used to just hold the mic back here. I'm gonna be sitting back here because my team's in. You guys figure out who's coming to see me.
Dirk. Look,
You remember how he would sit back like this with the mic at the press
maybe
conferences?
I'm a Mavs fan.
I knew you were.
already
I meant to do
know.
this the other night. I was getting too
At this
frustrated with
right,
the internet.
that's right here. I'm a Mavs fan, so I'm with the Mavs. I already know what that's about.
Give me Mikey Sanders still. Give me every
Mm,
single guy that put on burgundy and gold tonight. But Mikey playing in Michigan, a rookie. It doesn't
said
matter if
that.
you're going to get targeted as a rookie. They knew you were a rookie.
It's going home.
He's not a rookie anymore, man. Just like Jaden,
Home.
this guy is an experienced baller, and he matched his season total in one game against the best team on your
You not finna bomb me in front of my mama. That's what he said. You not finna throw deep on me in front of my mama. You not finna embarrass me in front of my home crowd. Like, he went to Michigan. You know what I'm
This is
saying?
my house.
You was drafted to Michigan and traded to Michigan and got there by way of. My man is from that place. So Mikey Sanders, my boy, you stepped up.
Boom.
That's sheesh. I was on with the junks, man. I was like, look, would love to see little Mikey still show up. Because frankly, dog, you look at what Detroit had at offense. Jameson Williams, absolute Ferrari. All right. You saw what he did on the reverse. House
Shoot.
that hoe. But I've said all week, Brian, I said, dog, you only have so many haymakers. You don't have that many haymakers. And when I was keeping track, and there was a guy, I probably missed a couple, but frankly, Detroit was probably 1 for 3, if not more, on those haymaker big play situations. They missed the one earlier to get to Jamison Williams. They hit on the reverse, but they kept trying to go to the well. And frankly,
Mhm.
if that's going to be your main way to generate offense, I don't think you're going to have success in this league.
No. And that's their problem to figure out. But Washington did what they had to do. You gave
Yeah,
up 31 points, but that team you had talked about had been putting up 50 on teams, and you turned
man.
them over 5 times. I mean, you dominated, man. I mean, I think it's safe to say you dominated. At a certain point in the second half, this one was over, and
Man,
you're going to the NFC Championship, one game away from the Super Bowl.
the the Super Bowl since
That's the big one.
1991. That's the big one. Okay, so look, let's talk about this right here. Now we can speak in this instance. Who would you rather do? Who would you rather go play against? I should say, the Rams or the Eagles.
I'm taking the team that you beat, man. Like, there's something about familiarity. You have a game plan. You can tweak it a little bit. Yes, you have to assume Jalen Hurts is going to be healthy. Um, and plus, it would just be so sweet to beat a division rival, a team that's had your number for so long. The real answer is I think this team can beat anybody, but give me the Eagles just from familiarity. I think you take that dice roll that you can shut them down one more time, that you can make enough plays one more time and get a win. I just think LA and Sean McVay is just another offensive mastermind that you're just tapping into something that you don't want to see.
Man, I tell you, look. At this point, it don't matter. Dan Quinn said it best. Anybody, anytime, any place.
That's not like some catchy saying. I think they really believe that. I mean, I think they would go
Anybody,
yeah.
anytime, any place.
Is
I
this
don't
thing
care. I
on?
don't.
Do I need to repeat it?
Anybody, anytime, any place. I don't care. When you've won 8, 9 different ways, that lets me know that I'm highly favored and blessed. I'm blessed and highly favored. It's not that I mean I can just go out there and let kismet happen. I can't just let the world happen. I have to do my own thing.
It you're absolutely right, but when this team has been preparing for every scenario since day
Mhm.
1, since day 0,
Yeah,
yeah, you can beat anybody anytime. A
Brian,
team might have your number, but if you're
come
doing
on,
the right thing, you
come
really
on,
got a chance, and this
come
team's
on.
really got a chance.
Bro, I was listening to tape. I went all the way back to July 25th, 2024. Dan Quinn, second day of training camp. He says, yeah, situational football game scenarios, we're working that every single day
I
from the second day of training camp.
I
Second day of training camp, y'all.
I think it goes back living in Atlanta. I saw this happen, and I know everybody was joking, and I was one of them. I was like, "Were we really getting the guy that blew the lead in the Super Bowl?" I think he absorbed all of that to where he was like, "A team might beat me on the field. A team might beat me with their X's and O's. They might call the right play that catches my defense napping, but I'm not going to be unprepared for a scenario." And they have been prepared for every scenario. It hasn't gone their way. They've lost 5 times. They've lost some heartbreakers. They've blown leads, but they
Mhm.
haven't not been prepared. And how
Hello.
many times is preparation and where you're at and being in the right spot often the difference in the game?
Hello. Look, I tell you this much. The one thing that you're not finna see is this team show up unprepared. They've been through it before. They've seen it before, right? And whereas Dan Campbell had his team looking right, where Dan Campbell has his team looking right, we had the right Dan on our side, and he
Mhm.
had his team ready to rock and roll and ready to come out there swinging and to land body blows, to land the big punches, and the fact that they did it methodically. It wasn't as sexy and reverses and things of that nature. Because those were some great plays. I mean, all I could sit back and look when Sam Laporta made that one-handed catch. I was like, shoot, that's a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
All you can do is pat him on the butt and just say, hey, good play, and keep it moving, right? But when you flip back and you look at what you did on your side, when you see Mikey Sainristil 2 picks, when you see just the way that this team stepped up in every single situation. I love the fact that you have a shutdown corner on one side, and he ain't even much getting none of the action. It was the other guy, the rookie, that was
Mhm.
making a lot of the noise. So that lets me know that you got something, and my boy. And my boy, number 8, somebody say, somebody that maybe folks have been taken out to the pasture and saying, hey, he's done for up here. I said, you know what, Brian Robinson, I need to have a performance from you. 2 touchdowns on the day, my friend. 2 touchdowns on the day, my friend. Finishing drives, finishing physically with your pads. 15 carries, 77 yards, 5.1 per average. You kidding me? I need that again. I need that again. Give me 2 more games of that. Give me
Yep.
2 more games of that, and
Oh, I
you're
thought you said you needed another sip. Sorry. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
well, I don't even know where my apple juice went to, but I need 2 more games of Brian Robinson playing behind his pads. That and I promise you, you're gonna have yourself a trophy,
Yep. It,
man.
it sounds like hyperbole, but this team is 2 wins away. It's not. Go
Yeah,
figure it out. Go win 2 more.
yeah, absolutely, man. I tell you what, just looking ahead, just knowing what we got. I don't want to spend much time on this. I want to enjoy this as it is, so we can get the hell up out of here. We can go to bed. East Coast is past midnight.
Maybe
And
I might just wait till my kids wake up so we can watch the game
Yeah,
again.
yeah, right. Exactly. I love the fact that my kids are staying up paying attention to this thing, but the Commanders, they upset the Lions. And frankly, I don't even must say upset. They went in there and they handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. 45 to 31 over the Lions. Jaden Daniels, cool, calm, collected, doing his damn thing as per usual. These guys went in there, handled their business behind a 28-point second quarter, close that thing out with a 14-point fourth quarter. Brian, tell me this one word to describe this game and this team as they head into the NFC Championship.
Unreal. I unreal because they're right here and they can do it and they proved it. And they had to get over the hump of winning a game, and then you let that snowball roll. You never know where it can go, and it's unreal what they're doing. I have to pinch myself. You think I'm kidding? I'm about to go, once we're done here, to make sure that score still says 45-31. I'm going to rewind it back and just double check. It's unreal. And I'm proud of this team, man. I don't know these guys. I've never met any of them, but I'm proud of them. I'd give them a hug right now if I could.
Man, I tell you, I love that, Brian. I love hearing that passion from you and that emotion. For me, it's resilient.
Mm.
It's resilient. I mean, you've got a team that, frankly, I think that if it was 28-3, that Dan Quinn would happily roll this squad out there and know that this team would come back from that. I think that's what he feels truly deep down inside, because everything they've shown me all year has just shown me that this is not your normal setup of people, right? They went through and they made specific draft picks because they said we want a commander, and these are the traits that we associate with what we want a commander to be. Mikey Sanders, that same exact audio from July 25th. Y'all can go look it up. It's from the Commanders YouTube page. Dan Quinn said Mikey Sanders still is made of the same stuff of Jaden Daniels. He said they got the same thing going from them. Both these guys are going to have a hell of a career from a long time. And frankly, Dan Quinn, you've been right. You hit on that. He's been a hell of a draft pick. He showed up big tonight, 45-31.
31.
Headed to the NFC Championship game. I've completely finished a whole bottle of apple juice, so therefore I'm going to have to refill coming into this next matchup. I don't know if we're getting cheesesteaks, or if we're getting California rolls, but nonetheless, the Commanders move on 45-31 over the Lions. Brian, what you got for them before we send them out here?
Cheers to you guys. We've talked about it. I mean, I know that I'm not alone and that this is unbelievable. What a ride that this team has been on. This is for you guys. Celebrate and then celebrate a little bit more. And then
Man.
let's lock in tomorrow and figure out who we're playing and go win 2 more.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you this much. This is my message to you, to the fans, from me, former player. Yeah, look, I'm gonna say this much. Enjoy this. Enjoy this. I've always preached the 24-hour rule, and it's still in full effect. You get to sit back and enjoy Sunday playoff football, knowing that your team is in the NFC Championship phase. So when you sit there and you watch the Eagles go up against the Rams, just sit there and know you're watching for your opponent. You're watching for the fact that, hey, this team is going to play host to you, and you're going to get to travel all the way across the country. So all my hog farmer friends, book your flight. You're going
Fire up the
somewhere,
jet.
baby.
Yep.
Fire up the jet, fire up that tailgate because you're gonna go up there and you're gonna show out.
Mad
All I
Hatter,
know,
Rally Captain, all you guys, go take
all
it,
of them.
whatever it is.
All of them. Mad Hatter, you said it. Rally Captain, I need you all. Jaden's mama, I need you all because it's going down next week. And if it's in Philly, then you better bring yourself some backup because Philly don't play nice. But if it's in LA, once again, bring your backup and shout out to the folks and care for all the folks and the firefighters out there handling all the fires. Because if this game could potentially get moved to Arizona, I don't know. I don't know, but right now I'm riding high. I'm excited. Folks were in the comments giving us some comments as well in the middle of this thing. Look, I know this much. If they put this, if they put 5 on prime time, Brian,
It's gonna happen.
I might book me a flight. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's
That's
get
all
out
I'ma
of here.
say.
Let's go.
Let's get
Let's
up
go
outta here,
celebrate,
yeah.
and we'll be back talking about whoever this team is playing, whatever journey is next. Unbelievable.
Man, look, 45, 31. They got this thing handled. The Washington Commanders. Y'all say upset. It's the expectation for us. Believe in Commanders is the show. Make sure y'all stay tuned with us because we here for another 2 games at least. All right, I'm booked for it. I already know. But it's been a big win for the Washington Commanders. Brian Murphy is to my side. I'm Anthony Armstrong, the original 1-3. The Commanders move on to the NFC Championship. Is it Philly? Is it LA? We'll find out tomorrow. We'll see y'all next time on Believe in Commanders.